Imagine a civilization so vast, it stretched across 3 continents. A place where gods and mortals walked the same streets, where emperors were both revered and reviled. Welcome to the Roman Empire, where ambition was a virtue, and survival was a daily battle. From the marble halls of the Senate to the blood-soaked sands of the Colosseum, this is a story of humanity at its most brilliant and brutal. Today, we're diving into the untold stories of the Roman Empire, where power and betrayal lurked around every corner. Let's begin with one of the most infamous tales in Roman history, the rise of Julius Caesar. A man so ambitious, he would stop at nothing to shape the fate of Rome. By the time Caesar returned from his campaigns in Gaul, he had already become a legend. But his greatest challenge was yet to come. Upon crossing the Rubicon River with his legions, he sparked a civil war that would change Rome forever. Caesar's dominance over Rome was swift and absolute. He declared himself dictator for life, but power, as we all know, breeds resentment. A group of senators led by Brutus and Cassius conspired against him. On the Ides of March in 44 BCE they struck. As Caesar lay dying, he uttered the now famous words, "Et tu, Brute," and you, Brutus, a question that would echo through the ages. But Caesar's story doesn't end there. His adopted son, Octavian, would avenge his death and go on to become Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. Augustus' reign marked the beginning of the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and prosperity. Yet beneath the surface, the same currents of ambition and betrayal simmered. One of the most shocking tales from this era is the story of Caligula. Known for his erratic behavior and lavish excesses, Caligula's reign was a downward spiral of madness and terror. He ordered the construction of a bridge across the Bay of Baiae, not for practical purposes, but to prove wrong a soothsayer who had claimed it was impossible. He even appointed his horse, Incitatus, as a consul, a position of great power. But Caligula's antics turned deadly. He ordered the execution of anyone who displeased him, often on a whim. His paranoia reached its peak when he was assassinated by his own guards in 41 CE. The Roman Empire had seen its fair share of ruthless leaders, but Caligula's reign was something different, a reign of madness that left Rome on edge. If Caligula was unhinged, Nero was downright monstrous. His reign is often remembered for the Great Fire of Rome, which some historians believe he orchestrated himself. The fire raged for 6 days, destroying much of the city. Nero famously fiddled while Rome burned, or so the legend goes. But Nero's legacy is even darker. He brutalized his enemies, forcing many into exile or death. When the people of Rome turned against him, Nero took his own life in 68 CE. His death marked the end of the Julio-Claudian dynasty and the beginning of the Year of the Four Emperors, a time of chaos and civil war. Despite the turmoil, the Roman Empire reached new heights under Trajan in the early 2nd century. He expanded Rome's borders to their greatest extent, bringing wealth and stability. But Trajan's successor, Hadrian, faced a different challenge. He was the first emperor to openly embrace Greek culture, earning him both admiration and resentment. Hadrian's reign, however, is perhaps best remembered for his relationship with Antinous, a young man from Bithynia who became his lover. When Antinous drowned under mysterious circumstances during a trip to Egypt, Hadrian was consumed by grief. He deified Antinous, erecting statues and temples in his honor, and even founding a city named Antinopolis. Some have speculated that Antinous' death was a tragic accident, while others believe Hadrian orchestrated it as part of a dark ritual. But as the Roman Empire expanded, its internal decay began. Corruption and mismanagement plagued the bureaucracy, while external pressures from barbarian tribes and rival powers mounted. The once mighty legions that had conquered the world were now stretched thin, their loyalty bought and sold to the highest bidder. One of the most fascinating and tragic figures from this period is Commodus, son of Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius is often remembered as one of the greatest emperors in Roman history, a philosopher king who ruled with wisdom and justice. But his son Commodus was his polar opposite. Commodus' reign was marked by decadence and brutality. He became obsessed with gladiatorial combat, often participating in the arena himself. But what few people know is that Commodus' descent into madness was not just a result of his desires, but also of the pressures of ruling an empire in decline. The final blow came in 192 CE, when a conspiracy involving his mistress, Marcia, led to his assassination. Commodus' death marked the end of the Pax Romana and the beginning of a dark period known as the crisis of the 3rd century. Rome would never fully recover from the internal strife and external threats that followed. As we reflect on these stories, we're reminded of the timeless human struggles that shaped the Roman Empire. Ambition, betrayal, power, and loss, these are themes that transcend time. The Roman Empire was a place of incredible achievements, where some of humanity's greatest potential was realized. But it was also a place of profound flaws, where the same desires that drove greatness also led to ruin. So the next time you hear someone say, "History repeats itself," remember the stories of Julius Caesar, Caligula, Nero, and Commodus. Their lives were extraordinary, but their struggles were deeply human. The Roman Empire may have fallen, but its legacy lives on in the stories we tell today. Like, share, subscribe for more stories.